he doesn't look like an athlete of yesteryear. He looks like an athlete of today. So I guess once you were an all-rounder like him, you always keep in shape. After the meeting, you need to tell me how you do it, sir. But really like to welcome everyone. And you know how we do it. We like to give individuals an opportunity to introduce themselves, which club they're from, to let us know that they're here. So let's start with clubs outside of Jamaica. Do we have any club outside of Jamaica with us this afternoon? Any club outside of Jamaica? No? All right. What about clubs in Division 25? Any club from Division 25?
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Second VP Yolanda from the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. I'm expecting others to join us shortly. Thanks for the invite and have a great meeting.
Okay, thanks, Second VP Yolanda. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being the first person to respond to me. I was kind of feeling lonely, nobody wanting to talk to me. So now that you have opened the floor, I hope a lot of other people will talk to me. Thanks for being with us. Any other club from Division 24?
May I just add, I'm just looking back and I'm seeing 2 other members on. So we're 3 number at the moment.
Okay, great. Glad to have you on your delegation. Thank you. Any club in Division 24? Okay, what about Division 23 East? Any club from Division 23 East? (23 East? Okay, if we have no club from Division 23 East, what about Division 23 West? I know in another 10-15 minutes, most persons will be running in because I know the traffic out there is crazy this evening. But anyone from Division 23 West? Okay, since we have no one from Division.
Sorry, my apologies. Yes, I'm from 23 East.
Okay.
This is DP Sandra from the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston, and it's our pleasure to be joining you this evening at your club meeting. Currently, there are 3 members from New Kingston, and we do expect others to be joining. Look forward to a wonderful presentation. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, DP Sandra, and thank you for accepting the invitation. Thank you and your delegation for accepting the invitation. Always a pleasure to have you. Any club from Division 23 West? Okay, so we are now at Division 23 Central. Which friends do we have from Division 23 Central with us this evening?
Hi, P.E. Newton. Good evening. How are you?
Hey, PD. I am great. Thank you.
Okay, good. At this time, we have a delegation of, I'm going to borrow LGD Desmond, who is a dual member.
Well, as long as you only borrow him, borrow kind of connotes that you're going to send him back. Sure. So we don't mind lending him as long as you give him back.
All right. Yes, I'm giving him back, but for now, I just borrowing him. And
okay.
So, right, we have LGD Desmond, DLG Keith, and I saw Director Asha. So we have 4.
Okay.
Plus myself, 4. And I suspect more will join because Treasurer Melvin normally hop on. So he probably running late. So thank you so much for the invite. We have we could have a potential 5 people attending. Thank you so much.
Thank you for accepting our invitation as usual. And as you know, the invitation is an open one.
Yes, yes.
It's an open one to everyone on the platform. We meet every Tuesday at 7 o'clock right here on this platform, and it's an open invitation for everyone to join us.
Yes, so thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other club in Division 23 Central? Okay, what about our SLPs? Any SLP online with us? Any SLP? As a matter of fact, as I moved on to SLP, I thought I heard a little sound as if somebody from Division 23 Central was about to come on. Was there someone who was about to say something? No? Okay, how about any guests of a Kiwanian? Someone who was invited here this evening as a guest of a Kiwanian. Anyone like that on the platform with us? Welcome, DP Chris Robbins. I see you, sir. Welcome. Good evening. Also, CDLG Keith.
Thank you.
Thank you. I also see CDLG Keith here with us this evening. Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. Any guests of Kiwanians? Okay. How about other friends who you weren't invited by a Kiwanian, but you just decided to join us this evening because you hear this is a great place to be. Anyone like that? Okay, well, before I also want to acknowledge the presence of PDT Vivian McDonald. Welcome. I'm glad you could join us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Always our pleasure to have you. Anyone else? Any other friends online? Okay, well, as I said before, we're always happy to have you. We meet every. I see Imar Walters with your hand up. If you need to say something, please go ahead.
Oh, good evening, everyone. I was just saying that I was invited by Eric Barrett.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Glad to have you, sir. And I hope you will find that you made the right decision spending the evening with us today.
All right, thank you. No problem.
Okay, great. Well, as I was saying, it's always a pleasure to have you visiting with us. I know this evening is going to be a great evening. Everyone is now interested in track and field and football and all of that, and they're talking about special surfaces and special spikes and all of that. Well, our athlete this evening, I understand, is going to tell us how it was to run on dirt track and all of those things. I don't know. I don't want to preempt. So let me hand it over back to President Junior, and then we await Mr. Barrett himself.
Yes.
So back to you, President Junior.
Thank you, PE. And let us move on. Are there any apologies for absence at this time? Any apologies for absence?
Yes, evening. Apologies from Chairman Zuri, caught up in a work meeting and may not make it to fulfill his Sarge duties.
So might not have our Sarge, official Sarge. Thank you.
And
any other?
DLG Willie.
Yes, I noticed I didn't see him.
Yeah, he was he has another engagement that he can't miss.
Okay.
And I think Stan, I think DLG is Stan as well.
DLG is Stan?
Yeah.
Okay, any other apologies for absence?
President Junior?
I am on, yes.
If I may just break for a while and just acknowledge the presence of faculty advisor extraordinaire Aldith Douglas. Didn't realize she was on, but she can't be on and we don't recognize her for all the great work she's doing.
Good, thank you. Good. Any other apologies for absence? Okay. If there are no other apologies for absence, then we just move on to our next item on the agenda, which is recognition of birthdays and anniversary. And we call on our VP Steve. I saw him on earlier. And
yes,
I know
I'm here, President. I'm here.
I know you are here.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Guests, fellow Kiwanians. At this juncture, I'd like to share with you all fellow Kiwanians who are celebrating birthdays this week and family of Kiwanians. So we usually at this part, we share with everyone, some of the Kiwanians, so that if you see them, you can also extend congratulations or a happy birthday as the need arises. So for this week, Kiwanian Carabet Scott celebrated his birthday on the 13th of April. We have quite a few Kiwanians who have birthdays in April. Also, Kiwanian Michael Archer, his wife, Deborah, celebrates her birthday on the 16th of April, as well as DP Charles Sims, his wife, Georgia, celebrates her birthday on the 17th of April, which is yesterday. And past Chairman Carrington Grant, his wife, Elsie, celebrates her birthday on the 21st of April. That's coming up later this week. So special happy birthday to all of those Kiwanians and wives of Kiwanians who are celebrating this week. I wish them continued blessings and a happy birthday. And I'd also just take the opportunity, if there's anybody else who is on the meeting who is celebrating a birthday or anniversary, if they'd like to share that date with us, we can. At this time, the microphone is open if you have a special occasion you'd like to share.
VP Stephen, just saying I'm glad that we're still recognizing Clairebert's birthday,
yes,
even though even 2 years after he has passed.
Yes.
Yes, but it is significant, but the point is taken. I work with the list that I'm given. I'm sorry, it hadn't been updated, but now I'm aware of that. I will fix that.
Okay.
So that's it, President. Back to you. I'm looking forward to our guest speaker's presentation, and I'm sure we'll have an interesting and informative meeting.
I am sure we will, and we are looking forward to that discussion. Okay, let us move to our Kiwanis education. And we'll ask no other but LGD to do that first.
Thank you.
LGD Desmond, yes.
Thank you, President. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear, sir.
This evening we talk about nomination for general annual club meeting.
Okay.
We will hold annual club meeting during a regular club meeting between January 1 and May 15. Be sure to announce the date at least 30 days in advance. 5 weeks in advance, the president appoints a nominating committee to make nominations and prepare a ballot to elect officers and directors. 2 weeks in advance, the nominating committee submits a list of nominees. For officers, that means no more than 2 nominees for each office. For directors, that means no more than the number of directors' positions to be filled, plus 3 candidates. The president-elect is the sole candidate for president nominated by the committee. 1 week in advance, nominations from the floor may be made for any position to be filled. At the election meeting, volunteers will be appointed to prepare ballots, count votes, and certify results. Additional nominations from the floor may be made at this meeting if desired. That's it for Kiwanis education, President.
And thank you. Thank you very much. Now, at this time, we'll move to our main event, which is, as we had said before, participation with Mr. Barrett. So over to you, DP Stu.
Okay. Thank you, President.
Yes.
I just want to do one thing. I think I have a fan. I don't want it. It seems to be giving me some sounding. So let me just make a change.
I heard it wrong. Heard it wrong. Sure, it's not my fan because my fan is going as well.
Okay.
Still hearing it? You're not hearing it?
No, I turn it off.
Okay.
Well, fellow Kiwanians and guests, wow. See, I'm using a device so that I'm visible, but then I'm listening to myself. so I'm not sure how to solve that yet. But anyway, you won't hear that problem. All right.
We're not hearing that.
No, you won't, yeah, it won't affect you. Okay, fellow Kiwanians and guests, it is my pleasure to have as our guest, this was billed as a conversation. So,
yes.
and I won't be doing a lot of from a traditional introduction, because that's part of what we're gonna end up talking about. But I think it's appropriate for me to mention something by way of the introduction. Yeah. Now, I, like a few others, and everybody knows me that I always go to champs. But I was not aware of the exploits of Eric until maybe about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because we knew each other from many years ago when I was with VMBS, and he was with Young Butler, and he was our advertising account executive. And during that period of time, when we even were sponsors of champs, this never came up.
Right.
So it was quite a surprise to me when some years ago I realized I saw him getting a special honorary award at champs based on what he had done. So from then I did a little research, and finally I now have him here with us to be able to share some of these, what we didn't know before. Now, Eric, I want to start at the beginning, but not exactly about when you were born, but more like when you first felt that you could run. I know at primary school you probably did something, but there wasn't the kind of infrastructure for primary school champs and so on at that day. So tell me how you got into running.
Okay, well, let me first start by saying that my father was on the winning team of Wilma 1938 and 37 and 38. So,
good school.
So it started there, because I remember he had even saved one of his spikes for me,
Okay.
But as you said, at prep school, there's no formalized track, but you only ran sports day. I actually went to Holy Child Prep, right? And there was no formal athletic program. So, I guess it started when I went to high school.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so what made you decide to turn out for the track team? I don't know if somebody saw you doing something else, but how did that begin?
No, well, as I told you, my father's influence, and actually my brother who went to St. George's College before me actually represented St. George's College at champs at shot put, So
So they were kind of looking at you and thinking, well, maybe you have something to contribute.
Well, the thing is, I turned up at for training. Actually, when I started at champs, I was supposed to run in class 4 because that's what they have at high school. But some inadvertently I didn't run against the class 4, but I competed against the class 3. They only discovered it the following year, you know.
So you were a class 4 boy running in class 3.
Correct. And I was actually second fastest.
Interesting. Okay. Well, when I look up in terms of the timing, that 1966 was your first year in class 3 officially, I think. And you won the double, but maybe was it in 1966 or 67?
It was 66. We won the 4x1 class.
Okay.
And in 67, I won that's when I won the 100. Right?
Was it the 100 and the 200?
No, it was actually the 100.
Okay, the 100. Okay. Now, there's a particular, and I'm not sure if you are the only one, but let me just share this. Eric set records for the 100 in class 3, class 2, and class 1. Are you aware of anybody else who has done that?
I'm sure Donald Quarry did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and he was a little above you.
Yes.
Ahead of you.
Yeah,
right?
He was ahead of me. Correct.
Okay, I know everybody likes to know about schools and representation. So from what you have said, let's just put it out there. You went to St. George's. I will cover a little bit later when you actually switch schools, but we'll leave that for now. Okay. Let me ask you this though. I'm curious. There's a member of our club who also went to St. George's and who has told us about his track exploits. And based on the ages, I have a feeling that you might have crossed paths. Did you know Michael Archer?
Yeah, man. We competed.
No, he never told us that he beat you or anything. He didn't name any names, but he gave us the impression that he was one of the top ones. Yeah, so, who came out ahead? I mean, in your school encounters.
Well, not the boss, but Michael knows. Michael knows.
He knows. Okay. All right. Just wanted to get the facts straight. All right. Now, class 2. You have the distinction. First of all, when I did my research, this description of you as being the dirt track, the last of the dirt track legends, I was a little bit puzzled because when you were excelling, you were at the stadium. And correct. I didn't realize until you made me wiser that the track that the stadium had at that time was not the kind of synthetic all-weather track that we had. Tell us about that surface.
Okay, well, it was heavy on the feet. Actually, as I say, it was cinder, right? And I mean, we had an advantage that if somebody was coming close to you, you could hear them.
Okay. Right. You know, that's interesting because I remember Herb McKinley saying about the 48 that he could hear Arthur Wint coming closer to him. So, all right.
Yeah. So, and another thing too is that as I was explaining, we use the blocks were made of wood, not in those times.
Not the kind of fancy stuff.
Hammer it down into the dirt, you know.
Oh, wow. So when you look at the guys running today, I'm sure you kind of say to yourselves, boy, if I was running in those conditions, more people would know about what you have done.
Well, the thing is, when it's your time, it's your time. That's what. Yeah.
Okay. Now in class 2, when you broke a record, the 100 in class 2, and it was a record held by, I think, jointly by Donald Quarry, Lennox Miller, and Mabrika Ventura. Is that correct?
And also Godfrey Murray.
Right, and Godfrey Murray.
Correct.
Tell us your memories of that particular performance when you won the 100 and broke that record.
Okay, well, that particular race, when I ran that, my father said, when he saw it, he said the attitude, and how I got up, even if they got up 10 yards in front of me, I would win. So I was very comfortable in winning that.
Okay. You're brimming with confidence.
Yeah, man. And what must tell you too is that I have retired that record because I'm now running metric.
Okay, that's not a distinction about it. That was the last year when the old system of yards was being used at Champs.
Well, it was actually 69. They switched to the metrics in 1971.
Okay, but you still had that record up until then, and nobody has ever broken it.
No, nobody broke
it. What was it again? 10.1?
10.1. 10.1.
10.1.
Yeah, the others had 10.2.
Okay, great. So after.
Okay,
go
I
ahead.
Tell you, at Champ, I took the 1 and the 2. And I was also a champion boy in 69 for class 2. Okay.
So did I get it wrong when I said that you were a champion boy in class 3 as well?
Yeah.
I got that wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I was almost a champion boy.
Okay. Okay. All right. So moving along, when you got to class 1, you had some hiccups. Tell us about your class 1 experience.
Well, what happened is that I ran in 1970. I represented St. George's College. And although during the fastest time, well, that was still yard. Okay, 1970. I came second. And I came. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I came second with the same time as the person who had won. In fact, it happened to me 2 years straight, in 71 and 72. Although I had set the fastest times.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was pipped both times at the tape.
DP Scott, you're muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I tried to cut out something a while ago. Okay. Yeah, you broke the record for the 100 in one of the preliminary rounds.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And then now going into the final.
No, actually, remember, it was the first year that we went to meters. I had actually set the first.
Oh, you set that. Oh, okay. Right. So was your time in the final, I guess your time in the final was not as fast?
It was, no.
And the winning time was not as fast?
No.
Okay.
There was a lot of breeze that afternoon, you know?
Okay. I do remember that in those days, the 100 meters was usually run at about 3 o'clock on the
correct.
Saturday.
Yeah, that's
and
correct.
it was traditionally quite windy, so you never got fast times in the final.
That's correct.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So what about, and you had another, hold a second, just a second. If I was using my PC mic, it wouldn't be so sensitive, but I'm using this other one. Okay, so how did you had some injuries in the class 1? Tell us about how you worked with that.
Well, what happened, it wasn't really injuries. It's actually I picked up, well, what happened is my first year class 2, I didn't run. Because I got spiked practicing baton changing 2 weeks before champs. Actually went to champs on crutches, you know.
That was tough.
Yeah, man. But in the injuries of the nature of the injuries was actually a bad sinus problem, which after winning sports day, of course, selected.
This is class 1 now.
Yeah, class 1. That was the nature of problem, you know. Good the strength I wasn't there. I was bedridden, but leading up to champ. Okay.
Which year was that in your classes? You had 3 years in class 1. Which year was that?
That would have been the 72. So that's why in 72.
The last year.
Right. That was the relays. Yeah.
So although you missed training because you had the tonsillitis, you were still fit enough to run the relays.
Yeah.
Right. And was there anything special about the achievements that you had in those relays? Because I think Camperdown, you won both relays.
Yeah, in record time. We set the record, of course.
Is there anything special you want to remind us about? What was memorable about those victories?
Well, I don't like talking about it.
Well, you know, we all want to hear.
My KC friends don't like me talking about it.
Yes.
But let's not worry about them. Just give us the facts.
No, well,
1 second, please.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Perry.
Sorry. Go ahead,
yeah,
please.
Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah, well, what happened is that, as I said, when it's your time, it's just your time. Because what happened is that the 4x4, which was the last event, I had just completed the 200 finals.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just competed 200 finals, which just gave me a couple minutes to get prepared for the 4x1. But as I said, it was the gentleman who was supposed, our 400-meter runner, who was supposed to have anchored the relay, came to me at the last minute and said, Eric, you just run the race, hold on and do the anchor leg for me. Right? But not realize, well, at that time, I was the type of person. In fact, I was the captain of the team, right? And I, play ball, but not realizing that it's the fastest guys on the last leg. Right? But as I said, I was determined, so went out there, and
Who else do you remember was on that last leg?
actually it was Trevor Campbell. Trevor
Oh,
Campbell.
the great TC.
Yeah, the great TC.
And you got the button before him or after him?
Well, tell the truth, we actually got it almost together, but I actually ran to the front. Okay, I set the pace.
Okay.
And actually, what I said to myself is, I know he's a strong 400 and 800 runner, and I said to myself, if I hit that straight, you know, I'm sure nobody can catch me. Actually, when we entered the straight, he actually pulled up beside me, and was probably a yard ahead of me. And as somebody say, you draw your gear, you know, it's yard. Right?
Well, you know, you don't have to be, you know, too reserved about saying it. This is history. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like you're making up anything. So, sorry about that for KC persons who might be in the audience, but we just want to get it to facts. All right. At that time, when your, you know, high school days were coming to an end, what thoughts did you have at the time about going beyond that? I know it's a lot different now than what it was then, but what were your thoughts?
Well, at that time, as I said, you never had the clubs as we had it now, right? I was offered several track scholarships, but I didn't go with it because, as I said, my interest at that time was actually playing football. You know, I love football and I got it. And what even made it worse is that I got married a year after I left school.
So that gave you a different perspective as to what was the priority.
Correct.
Okay, I get you. I get you. I want to touch a little bit on your football because that is something I didn't know either. So, I mean, after I learned about your track exploits, I still didn't know what kind of position you played for your Manning Cup team.
Well, actually played right back for both St. George's College and Camperdown.
Okay.
Right.
So what years would that have coincided with? I mean, I'm just trying to put it parallel to your track career. Would it be when you're in class 2 or class 1 that you played Manning Cup?
It would have been class 2, the first year when I played class 2 at St. George's College and class 1 at Camperdown.
Okay. All right. So as a right back and a speedy right back, what was your strategy? You're not a very big person. Normally, sometimes in those days, your right back was a big guy. What was your strategy? What were your tactics?
People tell me that, you know, I was very muscular, so just wearing clothes, it was deceptive. You could know I was very muscular on my clothes. So, but I held my own, you know.
So you're a solid person.
Correct.
Yes, I guess
In
that.
Fact, anytime there was a forward that was giving a problem, they would deploy me in that area.
So like you're a hitman. Okay, something else I wanted to touch on. You mentioned, or rather some of the stuff I looked at, mentioned the Guadeloupe games, and I had never heard of that game.
Yeah.
Tell us what it was and what was like representing Jamaica there.
Well, let's say it was actually, as you said, my first time representing the country, you know, and actually it was a year I went to Penrith, and actually it was a week before I went to Penn Relays, you know, with Camperdown. And when we went there, we bunked with the Bayesians and the Trinidadians, you know. And, you know, it's a good command, you know. But as I say, the Guadeloupe games, it was like another one-off. It was just a selective few from champs that were asked to represent Jamaica there. But Matthew, I was telling you, this wasn't, it wasn't high school only. We had a lot of,
the seniors.
We have a lot of seniors running this.
But you ran the 100?
Yeah, I did 100, and I had actually made the finals. I came fourth.
You came fourth. And there was a relay. Tell us about the relay.
Yeah, well, that means that we actually had a relay of different countries, and actually we came out on top. We won that relay.
And this was a meet that included what? Name some of the other countries.
It was a lot of, well, the USA was there, and majority of the teams were from the island.
Oh.
From Guadeloupe, you know, that's, you know, Guadeloupe, St. Martin, Trinidad and Tobago, you know, Bayesians, you know, so primarily Caribbean.
But the USA was there, and you guys beat the USA.
Yeah, on the relay.
What leg you ran?
I ran the second leg.
You remember any of your other teammates on your team?
Yeah, well, one that stand out was Brent Brown, who actually was
he's the one who beat you in the 100.
Correct.
Right. Okay. And it is noteworthy that at that time, when you were in high school, there was no Carifta games.
No, actually, Carifta
it started in 72.
Correct.
Right. Good. This might be a good time for me to get your views on, you know, Jamaica has been going to the Carifta games and dominating, and you have some people who express their opinion on social media that, you know, we should, you know, like we have outgrown it. Give us a perspective on where those views, you know, might not be correct.
Well, my opinion is that it's good for the youngsters. You get a chance to don the Jamaican colors and, you know, represent your school.
Your country.
Right. Yeah, represent your country. Sorry. And you know, it looks good on your resume. You know. So I'm all for it, regardless of what the naysayers are saying.
I may also add that may be the only time some of these athletes ever represent Jamaica.
That's correct.
Because they're not all of them are not necessarily planning on a pro career.
That is true. And or they may not break into the senior ranks.
Right. Okay. Another thing is, in those days there was no World Junior or Youth.
No.
We didn't have that then.
No. But I can tell you something. When I won the class 200, Howard Aries, who was the senior man in the J trays at that time, but the Jamaica Amateur Athletic Association at that time.
Right.
He used to call me Young Barrett, you know. Young Barrett. No,
he probably knew your father.
He said you probably had have one of the fastest times in the world for a 15-year-old, you know. So that was I can't forget that. I can't forget that.
So that gave you a perspective of how you are matching up.
Correct.
Great. Let me see now. What would you consider as your most memorable moment on the track side? I'll ask you about football after.
Right. Okay, I would say the most memorable was my class 200. I mean, it was, when you go up and you receive your cup, and it was good. And it actually held by the points.
Okay.
St. George College was in the top 10. Was always in the top 10.
Now, St. George's is not a famous track school, but they have had a few, stand out. I remember the name Errol Huey. He was a 400 runner. But, whereas I can name a lot of these names of some of the other schools, I can't remember a lot. Who else you can remember from St. George's who was a standout? You can remember?
Well, the thing is, what happened is not during my time, but Mikey Patterson, who was in class 3, he actually came second at champs. And as you say, after I left, there were a number of other guys that did well. But there was, I remember, Mark Clark and Gooden, who took the 1 and 2 in class 2, and
but I'm sure if I'd asked it, that's about Camperdown, is a much different picture. What influenced your move from St. George's to Camperdown?
Well, actually, I graduated from St. George's, and it was a situation where I wanted to do over some O levels. And my mother, she was also a teacher, she actually approached Excelsior first, because one of her sisters taught there. But it was a situation where they'll get it back, they'll get in touch with you, that situation. Well, obviously, nobody didn't tell them who I was or anything, So she went to Jeff Brown, Camperdown, and he just said, have him come,
Okay.
But as I say, it's destiny, because all the guys who I competed against with was at Camperdown. They were my teammates.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
and the fact that Glenn Mills was there, what was that? How did that influence you?
No, well, as I say, Glenn was just making his name at that time. He was just a few years older than us.
Okay.
He started as a teenager. But we were establishing a spring factory.
Okay. So that was the beginning, part of the beginning of that development.
Part of the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. So do you have any memorable moments for your Manning Cup?
Well,
yeah, but you never scored any goals, did you?
No, as I said, right back. I set goals. I set a number of goals. But as I say, I remember, Camperdown and St. George's, we are good friends. But when I played for Camperdown, it was the first year Camperdown ever beaten George's.
Whenever a player leaves one team, goes to another team, and then they meet, you usually have a little fire in your eye because you want to show them up.
Well, no, they were all my friends in there, but
that's funny.
In fact, the headmaster, Father Ferris at the time, he came over to me and whispered in my ear, Eric, you're a traitor.
I hope he had a little smile on his face though.
He always has a smile.
Oh, all right. Okay, so I want to open up. You know, I don't know if there are persons in the audience who want to ask you a thing or two. I think now would be a good point for me to, you know, let them do that. Let me ask Newton if you see any questions in the chat, if you can monitor that for me.
Will do, DP.
And one last thing I should have asked you, because since Willie is not here, if you can see if you can monitor the count and the members online, because I am not able to manage that. So
Okay.
I'm just asking you to help me in that area.
Will do.
All right. Is there anyone from the audience who wants to get in a quick one?
Thank you, DP. It's true.
Yes, go right ahead.
Good evening, Eric.
I agree. How are you?
I'm quite good. You know, just for transparency's sake, I have known Eric for quite a while. In fact, you know, from almost childhood school days. You know, I remember him running. You know, I served with his father on the Old Boys PTA. So, you know, there's some relationship there. You know, so I can attest that, you know, I'm one of those who was fortunate to have seen Eric during his heydays on the dirt track at the stadium, you know, and was sufficiently impressed. Eric, you know, coming forward now and looking at what's happening today with many of our young athletes. One of the things one notices now is that our young athletes, some of them, you know, seem to be going professional even before they are just they are about to leave school. Some even had a few more years left at school, but choose to go professional. What are your thoughts on what is happening now?
Well, you know, remember, you know, times are changing, and actually you can build a career through athletics now. It wasn't so in the past. And going pro, you start making the money, and you actually get proper training to go further. You know, so I have no qualms in recommending an outstanding athlete to go that route.
Okay.
My other follow-up question would be,
go ahead, Chris.
Well, my other follow-up question would be, do we, you know, do we encourage them to stay here and locally or go abroad?
I would encourage them to stay here because, well, I've known a number of athletes have gone abroad, and for some reason they tend to burn out, you know. And the level of coaching we have out here is adequate for them to go further.
Thank you, Chris. I would throw in that in the earlier days, those who went abroad, some, for example, went on junior scholarships, found that the scholarships weren't covering everything and had to hustle. And then that led to them, you know, getting off track. Some didn't have any a center, like any home or family, and those kind of things. Some of those things are a little different now, you know, but I tend to favor the stay at home and also look out for the ones who go abroad and hope that they still do well. One that I'm really watching is Brianna Liston. you know, I would just hate for her not to fulfill her, you know, what she has demonstrated that she's capable of. But, you know, I guess some things for some and another thing work for the other persons.
Correct.
And anybody else?
Marcel,
Oh, Marcel, go ahead.
Hi, good evening all.
Good
Sir
evening.
Eric, congratulations, my friend. You were stop. As somebody who did the 100 and 200 at a time when I think on that last day, because I got caught in myself on that Saturday. It was a case of the 100, the 200, and the sprint relay. And I think for somebody like Campbell TC, also, in fact, I think he did 200, 400, 800, a number of events.
Yeah, he did.
Just to make the comparison with yourself. How was it in terms of recovery? Was it that when you had to go, because all of them were finals, and you would have done 3 events, right? The 200 and the 100 and the sprint relay.
Yeah, and the sprint
Well,
relay.
In your last year, that year you didn't do the sprints. So
No,
you did just the 2 relays.
But in
the 71, tell us about 71.
Right.
I did the 1, the 2, the 4x1, and the 4x4.
Right.
Okay.
Four events. Right.
Okay. All right. And then why is it, you know, change that crazy scheduling? I think you would agree. To where as far back as it went and all, when the days, I think at your time to have been just a very short Thursday and a Friday, Saturday, right?
Yeah, correct.
Right. So it just feeds into that. Let's do. But just your thoughts on how beneficial, well, obviously it is, but how important you think it is to have done that now with the experience you had, and how did you manage it?
Well, you just had to just turn up and do what you have to do. I mean, we never thought of it as, you know, in fact, it's just nowadays I hear more recovery time.
Okay. That's why I asked, yes.
Yes. In those days, you know, all right. When I remember when you're a youngster and you're playing football, you play football for the whole day. If it's cricket, you play cricket for the whole day. And yet now we're saying that you can't run more than 2 races or 3 races. Well, I don't understand it.
It's gonna get dark. But I think though, there are the athletes who it does affect. As you said, you know, horses for courses. And there are some athletes that it will affect more than others. I know part of the thing because I went through that was mentally, you know, it just had to do it. I mean, at sports day at most schools. I mean, there are people running from the 100 right up on one day. Right up
and I must tell you something. When I was in class 2 at St. George's College, I did everything. All the open races, the mile, the 800. High jump, shot put.
You mean on sports day, Eric?
On sports day.
Oh boy.
Is it okay? No, I don't want to believe at the point, but is it partly mental then? I mean, you obviously you probably would have done better in some of these.
No, but what you must bear in mind, you know, is that there's no science.
Yes.
That is not applied.
Yes.
So I wouldn't really knock the experts in saying, boy, you know, you run early and, you know, you save yourself and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So although I'd have preferred the 100 and still on the weekend.
Yes.
You know, because of the crowd, you know, the crowd support. You don't get it on a Wednesday. You don't get it on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And of course, it is a stellar race, you know.
Yeah.
But the organizers are patting themselves on the back, saying that, you know, it was a great move. So let's watch and see.
Well, quick one on that. How you talk about the spectator as a sprinter on this Saturday or whenever you run? How much of an impact or effect the crowd behind, the crowd support, the crowd being there?
No, man. Well, I mean, look at both.
Okay,
You know, you have the crowd behind you. It really pushes you. Just like when you're playing football and you have you guys behind you, you tend to put out more.
That's true. Okay, my friend, that's it.
Thank you, Marcel. Who else? Anybody else has a hand up or wants to ask a question? We're getting close to closure.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure. Go ahead.
Again, Eric, just looking at, you know, what's happening currently. You know, we seem, you know, from, you know, we had the high point of athletics for Jamaica, at least on the male side, through the Bolt area, and then we seem to have slipped a little,
right?
Slowly building back. But what I noticed that on the female side, we have remained consistently at a very high level. If you notice, and you know, and based on some of the work or what we see happening with some of our junior ladies, it will appear that we are going to remain, you know, operating at a fairly high level with at the female side. What do you think may have would have caused, you know, the ladies to remain consistent at a high level, while the men seem to be going through hills and valleys?
Well, in every sport, you know, you have your highs and your lows, and what they find is that, I don't know, the girls seem to be churning out more stars than the boys, but I don't know what could have happened, because if you see, when we had Bolt, remember we had a number of athletes doing so well, and they were tipped to take over from Bolt, but it never happened, you know.
And some jumped ship and went to run for other countries.
Well, they couldn't make the team.
They couldn't make the team at the time, and they didn't want to wait. I don't know if the gap might have been a little bit closer if we hadn't lost that kind of second and third tier. It might have been a little different.
Yeah. But as I say, you know, I'm glad that the program look like it is, you know, the rebuilding program look like it's really coming out now.
Yes.
If you should.
Yes.
You can recognize President Robert from West St. Andrews. Hand it up.
Sure. Please. Go ahead, President Robert.
Yeah, a pleasant good night. Mr. Eric, were you a good free kick taker or crosser of the ball?
Well, more a good tackler.
Okay. All right.
I did a couple squaring of the ball, but I never scored any.
Okay. All right then. Thanks. That was just it for me.
Okay. Any other hands up? Okay. Let me ask you this. Maybe I'd like to, since you did a lot of relays, I would like your opinion on what is happening to our relay team, and the fact that when we go to these championships, especially if everybody's running their individual events, there's not that much time for baton practice. Is there a solution to getting it right that you have thought about?
Well, the thing is practice, you know, practice. Because if you even notice our athletes at champs, there are hardly any problems with button changing, you know. It's actually become a part of them. But I don't know, for some reason, why would we go on the international stage and don't perform? You know, that is, you know,
in high school, you're a team and you're together. At the senior level, you're individuals, not necessarily from the same club. Some are home based, some are overseas based. So there is a difference. But what I've always thought is that once you have learned the basics, it's really just a question of getting the distance for the runoff. That's what you really need to practice.
Yeah, the button must keep moving.
Right.
You know, that is the objective. But as I say, it's practice. It's really practice. Because if you say that they don't know each other, they need to know the other person's run up and all that stuff. It's really practice. You know.
Let me ask something. When you practice a button change, would you, all right, if somebody is running a full leg, they are going to be a little bit more tired than if you run, say, 30 meters. What did you do? If you're going to practice, you're going to run the whole thing?
No. Person must catch at least in the middle of the zone.
The zone.
So I remember, you know, the person coming in at a very, you know, at their top speed, and when you move off, they're supposed to catch you almost
when you're
all right.
You remember that exchange with Brianna to Elaine in the Olympics? Would you call that a good exchange?
No, it wasn't. And I think that is what caused us really.
No. We won that one. It's the Olympics, you know. I'm not talking about the World Championships.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I mean the first one, when Brianna changed to Elaine. And Elaine ran off, kept running, got the button before the end of the zone. The button didn't slow down. But people were getting a little nervous.
Yeah, because you see, what is happening is that it seems, you know, it looked like it was delayed.
Yes.
Because, you know, you have to actually run down the person.
Yes.
You know, to get the button, you know. But as I said, the key is to catch them around.
But the one question I don't think you answered me though. Would you want in practice, would you want your incoming runner to run a full 100? Or the full leg? Because if he only runs 30, he's going to be fresher than he's going to be when you're running the full leg. That's what I was trying to say. Did you make any allowances for that?
No, well, the thing is, you know, as I said, you have to put your marker, okay? And you have to know where the zone ends.
Right.
Right? And your incoming runner is coming in at full speed. And he's supposed to catch you when you are actually about to go into your overdrive, you know?
Yes.
So a proper button change should never be near the end of the zone.
Okay. All right. I'll take it up with you afterwards. Because my theory is that if you practice when the incoming runner is not running the full leg, then when he's running the full leg in the actual race, he's going to be a bit more tired. You get me? And if you are running off, then you might leave him.
No, well, that is no.
You understand what I'm saying?
That is why you're supposed to practice. You're supposed to know at what speed the incoming runner is coming at you. So you have to be anticipated. You know, you have to anticipate that.
Okay.
But talking about relay, go ahead. No, we when we run, no, we reach. When I just started, our hands were down by our sides and the button was pushed into our hands, you know?
Yes.
So, you know, it has all changed up now.
There's a fundamental difference. In your day, we used to hold the baton horizontal, and you would hold your hand almost as horizontal as you could get it, the palm of your hand. Now we're holding the baton vertically, and I think it gives a much better grip for the takeoff runner to grab the baton.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big difference.
Yeah,
big
man.
difference.
It has improved.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Eric, one thing the last to finish, you have been honored by a lot of people. I mentioned Issa. I'm sure the Camperdown. Maybe St. George's. I'm not sure. But that, how does that make you feel?
Well, the thing is, as I keep telling, I'm glad that I'm remembered. That is the key, you know.
Yes.
Because those champs, boys and girls champs, recognized me 40 years after my participation. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
So you know, and the schools, several schools have called me to, you know, come and motivate their athletes, you know. So I use that platform.
Great. And for the record, let me just share the reason why I didn't know about Eric's exploits was because the years 69, 70, and 71, which would have been those foremost years, I was in Trinidad at UA. So I missed champs in those years. So that's the reason. Because I always used to go to champs once I'm in Jamaica. So for the record.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. I think we're about to wrap. And I want to we have Martino Dyer, who is gonna say a thank you for you. Martino?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, Mr. Eric Barrett. We want to thank you for taking time out, you know, to share your champs experience with us, and also to give us a little lesson in how far developmentally champs has come. This is indeed a timely discussion, having recently completed the boys and girls champs, and also on the eve of the World Championships that's also coming up. You are definitely a boys champs legend in your own right. Of course, not many people can claim that they hold records in class 1, class 2, and class 3, 100 meters. Of course, beating out some very recognizable name in the process. So I want to just extend a big thank you for being here with us, and thank you so much for joining us. And I want to present your certificate.
And we will have it framed, and I promise I'll get it to you, Eric.
Okay, no problem. And I really appreciate this discussion.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Thank you. Back to you, President Junior.
Thank you, DP Stewart and Eric. Thank you for sharing all those things with us. I must apologize that I missed out some of your exploits during that time. I know that you were wrong, but that was not weird, because I was on the other side of the North Street, right? Like by TC.
Like Casey, man, you're talking to you now.
So I really didn't remember you at all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, good. Okay, we'll just move on. Our Sarge is not here tonight. So I am going to be levying a charge on everybody. $300 for all who share with Eric tonight. And got all those wonderful history of Eric. Right, Eric? I'm going to be charging our members
Okay, no problem.
$300 each for your performance during those periods. Okay. Next item is our notices and announcement. DLG Winnie is not on, but are there anybody else that would like to?
I think the agenda has some of the, not notices, but interclubbing opportunities when you're going to get to it.
DLG Willie, President.
Yes.
Sunday,
Go ahead.
Sunday the 23rd, we have ECNC District Forum. The forum is a discussion on the merits and pitfalls of Kiwanis International and District distinguished status for divisions, for clubs and members. It starts at 4:30 p.m. and I suspect that 4:30 p.m. is Eastern, is Canada time. Daylight saving time, rather. Daylight saving time. So it could be 3:30 our time. I'm not sure. I see this is from DLG when it says 4:30. Then we have Tuesday, May 16, is our election for Kiwanis Club of Kingston. This is our new board. And ECNC District Convention in Quebec City, Ontario, from the 18th to the 20th, 18th to the 20th of May. Thank you, President Junior. Any other announcements from visiting clubs?
Yes. Yes, are there any other announcements from visiting clubs? We could take them now.
Hi, good evening, President Junior. This is DP Donna, Kiwanis Club, Eastern St. Andrew. Just to add that with the forum, the Eastern Sea Forum, it's actually 4:30 Jamaican time, 5:30 Canadian.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Good. Any other notices and announcements?
Yes, good evening again. So the Kiwanis Club of 23 Central Surrey Online.
Yes.
Ticket for the play.
Okay, I remember.
On the 30th of April. So I do ask, beg, plead, advise, implore all of the above. Yes, purchase a ticket and attend the play. If you've gone already, it's nice to go back again and remind yourself all the parts, okay?
Yes, we will.
Yes, and I think LGD Desmond could tell you some more. They could sell you some tickets, or you contact VP Cheryl or any one of the members from the club. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
And thank you for being here with us as usual.
Yes, you're welcome.
Any other announcement?
Sorry, the tickets are what, $2,000?
Oh, sorry, you're still on. Yes.
Sorry, I just remember I didn't say the price. The tickets are $2,000. Okay, and it's April 30th.
Good. Any other notices and announcements? If not, DP Stewart will move to.
Okay.
For the week.
Okay, my two thoughts. First one, if my life is fruitless, it doesn't matter who praises me. But if my life is fruitful, it doesn't matter who criticizes me.
Good.
And this one, there was a context surrounding this. I won't go into the context, but I'll just read it. A new scientific truth does not triumph by convincing opponents and making them see the light, but rather because its opponents eventually die and a new generation grows up that is familiar with it.
Okay.
Thank you. Those are my 2 thoughts.
Thank you, DP. Now, it is time. Anything else that anybody on this meeting would like to say very quickly? Because we are going to be wrapping up. Something you wanted to say? Okay. If there's nothing else to discuss, then I'd invite you to raise your glasses, drink a toast to Kiwanis International, Jamaica, land we love. At this time, I'd like to terminate this meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
And let me just add, Eric, if you have a few minutes, we usually play some music after. So you're welcome to hang around until you need to go.
Right.
All
No
right?
problem. No problem.
Okay. Take care.
Take care.
And you know, we can talk a little bit if there's something that wasn't said that you want to say now.
Yes.
We have a little room for a little chatting at this point. If anybody wants to continue any of the discussion, I can do that before we start to play the music.
Actually, yes. Take care, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kiwanis, and a very good night to you all. We'll now just sit back, relax, and listen to our DJ Stu. Take over, DJ Stu.
Okay.
And I'll be on with you for a while.